in a Christian family, and I'd always known, I'd have to answer the question of where are you going to church. So I was looking around and trying to get plugged into a church, and that's how I found Vintage. But during that time, I wasn't walking with the Lord. I wasn't obeying the Lord. And I remember going to Rock and Bowl, the bowling alley, and I went, and I remember that day, I got connected with some of the guys. But it wasn't really until a few years later that I got connected into a vGroup with Danny Curry. The Lord really began to speak to my heart and kind of show me that I was living a life of religion and kind of what I'd grown up, but I didn't have a true faith of my own. I met Olivia during this time. Her sister is married to my best friend. So that was kind of the connection. We were both single. They're like, this would be perfect. So they matched us up together. So I went to see her and we went on a date, and it really just from there, it kind of took off. As we're married now. So we began to kind of journey together, me and her. And she was under the impression that I was a Christian at the time. And I had become really good at being a Christian. We began to talk about how she was going to move down here, and when she moved down here, we really knew that we both needed to be plugged into a community.
I remember us having the discussion of, when we were going to start going to community group, and we went, and the first Tuesday we went, we were all together, and then the second time we were gonna go, it was gender specific week. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm not gonna go, I don't know these people, and then I remember sitting there thinking, why haven't I done this sooner? And I was so thankful just for that night, because I think it really just stressed the importance to me of having a good Christian community.
The group was a huge part of my growth and maturation in my faith. Just every week seeing the power of meeting together and studying the Word together. Danny had approached me about beginning to lead and host out of this place, and it was something that I prayed about, and me and Olivia talked about a lot during that time.
I was reluctant. I was like, it's gonna be a lot. We're gonna be moving into a new place. We'll be newly married. I was starting a new job at the time, and I just remember Caleb saying that sometimes God calls you to do things you don't necessarily want to do. And just over that period of time and through those couple months, I think God not only worked on Caleb's heart, but also worked on my heart.
Since then, it's just been a huge blessing. It's so funny, something that seems like a burden has turned into being such a blessing. And I feel like though I've failed in so many ways, the Lord continues to use me in leadership, and oftentimes He's done it through humbling me by leading and just allowing others to encourage me and build me up.
I know just for our marriage and with Caleb leading and then us hosting, I know it's really impacted our marriage, and I feel like just my personal walk with Christ, because on a daily basis I see Caleb diving into the Word, and I think that encourages me to do the same.
And the Bible is built around community. God Himself is the Spirit, the Son, and the Father, and they were built a community from the beginning. And then He gave us marriage, and He says it's not good for man to be alone. And then there's just so many outlines in the New Testament of reasons why we're to be together, that we're not meant to be alone in our faith. God commands us to meet together, to love one another, and to encourage one another, and to use our gifts. Ultimately, if we want to grow closer to God and grow our relationship with Christ, we need to surround ourselves and prioritize meeting together with other believers.
I know it's made such a huge impact in our lives, and if you come to a group and you're involved, you will not only be encouraged, but also will encourage other people. And I think that's what the church is all about.